Opie, a 55-year-old man, discovered that his 52-year-old wife had an affair with a younger man, and to his shock, their daughters knew about it. They had always been seen as a strong couple, married for 25 years with 3 daughters aged 17, 20, and 23, at least that's what he thought. One day, he received a message from a woman telling him that her soon-to-be husband confessed to having an affair with an older colleague at work and provided the woman's name. The woman did some digging and found Opie, thinking he deserved to know the truth. Initially, he didn't believe her, but as she provided more details about the affair, including dates, duration, names of coworkers who knew etc., he had to face the fact. The man even gave her the name of the hotel and his home address. Opie said, "The man was 21 at the time. Just a kid. I can't believe she slept with a kid. It happened when I was on a business trip, the classic opportunity. When I put the pieces together, I realized she probably planned it, as my business trip was scheduled months in advance. I find it odd to believe it's a coincidence that she suddenly cheated during the same period I was away. My wife is dead to me. I'm ready to divorce her, so I'm just preparing the finances, etc. One of my good friends faced the same situation, so she advised me not to confront my wife, as she might go nuclear if she's cornered. I don't think she will, but who knows? I thought I knew her. Turns out I didn't. It's been hard seeing her every day acting like nothing happened. She's planning our next vacation, talking about visiting our daughters. Our eldest works in a different city. The second one is in college, and the youngest is finishing high school. She's like a roommate now. I just don't feel anything. I'm a ghost living in our house. I wake up at 5, go to the gym, go to work. I have my own business. I come back around 7 and just do my own stuff. I kind of think my wife is feeling something is weird, but I don't really care." What hurt the most is that his daughters knew about the affair. The soon-to-be husband told his girlfriend that Opie's daughter walked in on them while they were kissing in their living room. His wife thought she would be at school all day, but apparently she managed to calm down their daughter and explain the situation. He's not sure what happened, but his daughter never told him anything. Knowing how close she is with her 2 sisters, he's 100% convinced she shared the secret with them, and the 3 of them probably decided to keep quiet. That's probably why he feels so detached. He believes he's still a good father. He worked really hard on his business to make sure they get the best of everything, prioritizing them in any decision about his business to ensure he could provide for them, send them to college free of debts, and give them the best start in their working life. He tried to be there at every step of their lives, basically doing what any father would do. They had their ups and downs, obviously, but nothing major. They are his baby girls, and he always saw them as his little princesses. So knowing that they knew really stung. Part of him thinks they didn't tell him because they were scared of destroying the family. He understands that, but he still has this anger inside him, and it keeps growing. They have a WhatsApp group, and when he sees them asking for advice, asking for help with a deposit for a flat, and so on, he just feels like screaming and confronting all of them. But he knows it won't solve anything. It will just be a 10-second happy feeling for him. And then he'll go back to stinging. Another part of him just wants to leave, close his bank account, and just leave the house, cut ties with all of them, and just leave without a word. His good friend advised against that because the law doesn't take kindly to that, but he really can't say that option isn't growing on him. He doesn't even want to talk, doesn't want to understand their point of view. He wants to leave and go somewhere like Thailand, stay on the beach for a few months, and maybe one day he'll feel ready to listen. Or maybe he won't. He doesn't want to hear about how sorry they are, how they regret not telling him. They had 3 years. They looked him in the eyes and didn't say a thing. He doesn't really know how they managed to keep a poker face like nothing happened and still behave as usual. He feels like the 4 of them are master manipulators, and this anger inside him is not going away. Reconciliation with the wife is out of the question. She repulses him. And the fact that she behaves like a loving wife just adds to the fire inside him. He had his friend help him and talk to him about her experience. So he managed to see this from an outside point of view. Where he needs advice is about his daughters. As he said, part of him wants to talk. Another part just feels like they don't deserve a chance to come clean now. It's too late. He's just so lost. Thanks for reading all of that. It took him forever to write it, but somehow it does feel good. In the edits, Opie provided more information and his thoughts. He's not sure how Reddit works, but he hopes everyone can read his thoughts. He already has a lawyer, and the lawyer told him that since the kids are grown up, there won't be any alimony issues. As for spousal support, she might ask for it, but since she works and is doing fine for herself, the judge will most likely turn that down. Their joint account is only used for things they pay as a couple. Otherwise, they have their own bank accounts. That was strong advice from his parents. That if two partners are working, they shouldn't put everything in a joint account. He can't thank them enough for that. The lawyer said that she could argue that his business is doing well, and she's entitled to a part of it if he happens to sell it. But since she works, they can always argue about this. To be honest, he doesn't even care. He wants to talk to his daughters. He knows he should. You guys are 100% right. The reason he hasn't done this is because he has this anger inside him that is not going away. He feels like if one of them says something that doesn't go well with him, he might snap, and yes, he would like to believe his wife manipulated them to keep the secret, so him snapping will make it worse. Yes, the anger is misplaced. But just to be clear, obviously, he hated his wife when he learned about the affair, but then anger turned into indifference. He will divorce, and she will be gone with his kids. It's different. He can't hate his kids, he has feelings for them. Unfortunately, right now it's anger. The reason he assumes his youngest shared it with the two others is because they have always been very close to each other, supporting each other, which makes him very proud. So it's hard to believe his youngest didn't share it, but like someone said, he's not 100% certain. In any case, he doesn't want to blame them. He understands their point of view. If they tell him they didn't want to break the family at 7, but it's hard to accept the lying. It's like someone wrote, part of him would feel they decided with their cheating mom. He feels like he needs some time alone to process everything, time he didn't have lately between his wife, 3 daughters, and a business to run. His only me time is the time at the gym he allows himself to have, but he doesn't feel it's enough to make the anger go away. And in his current situation, it would be weird if he told them he would be away for a month and then go to Hawaii. Paternity tests, STDs, etc. Health checks are a no-brainer. He has an appointment at the clinic and will do all the tests needed. Paternity tests? He doesn't know. I mean, what's the point? Worst case scenario, they are not his flesh and blood. Does that matter? He raised them for 20 years. They are his daughters. Being blood related is not relevant. If they are not, that's on the mother, not them. He can't hold them accountable for that. Maybe the lady who contacted him lied. That was his first thought. I mean, 3 grown daughters. I thought we were a strong couple. My first reply was, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I don't believe your story about my wife. Then she started giving him more details, more proof. As he said, he doesn't care if it was because she wanted to ruin their marriage. But as the details are coming, doubts start getting into your head, and they're not going away. He started his own investigation, and as you can imagine, it's a lot easier to find clues when you know what you're looking for. He's not one to live in denial. Facts are facts. And as much as it hurts, you have to face the truth. From what he understood, she and the guy were preparing their wedding. He doesn't know what happened to him, but it seems that he had this urge to come clean. God knows what happened in his mind. And he cut ties with all of them and moved on. He assumes these comments are from people with no kids. You can't walk away like that. What he means is he would leave for a period of time to process everything, and when he's healed, they would talk, but it won't be the same. He loves them, they love him, but it won't be the same. However, no matter how angry he is, he feels he can't just leave like that. If his youngest didn't actually share the secret and kept it to herself, him leaving will be devastating for her, and his other 2 might resent her for that. This is his nightmare scenario. He might be an idiot for thinking that, but his role as a father is to protect them. He will get the lawyer to speed up the paperwork and get his wife served, and then on the day she receives the papers, he'll Skype with his daughters. They are all in different states, so they can have a discussion to clear things up. He wants to do this on the same day so that they don't go talking to their mother, and then she'll try her best to play the victim. He wants her to believe he knows nothing until he's ready. It's Sunday now. He hopes by next week, all the papers will be ready, and then he can finally open up and have a discussion with his girls. Let's see how it goes. Now, we have a lot more information on what's going on with this story and what Opie has already done or intends to do. So now let's go check out that update to see how this story ends. As many of you suggested, he took his youngest daughter for lunch last week. During that lunch, he asked if there was something she would like to share with him. He doesn't know if it was his face or tone, but she immediately understood what he was referring to. She broke down and told him the whole story. She did see her mother kissing another man a few years ago in their home. Apparently, his ex-wife told the man to leave and sat down with their daughter. She explained that it was a brief lapse of judgment, but she was glad that their daughter stopped it. She swore it was a one-time mistake and begged her not to say anything to him, as knowing him, he would just walk away from her and their family. His daughter told him that she agreed to keep it a secret as she believed her mother. Later on, she shared it with his two other daughters. As you can imagine, they were both shocked. Apparently, his eldest didn't believe the story of the one-time kiss. It was too convenient that his young happened to walk in the living room and find them kissing for the first time. So, she told them not to worry and that she will handle it with their mother. He can't be more proud of her for taking this burden on her shoulders. From what his youngest knows, it seems that his eldest talked to their mother about her cheating on him, and that if she doesn't come clean to him, they would inform him. However, the mother always had a good excuse over the past few years to delay it. Either it was their job situation, a sick relative, etc. There was always a good excuse to explain that it would be devastating to add this on top of what is going on with him. At the end of the lunch, he told her he will call her two sisters to discuss this. She insisted to be part of the conversation. Fair enough. He messaged his two daughters, telling them he needs to talk to them right now, so they quickly set up a call. Part of him thinks they knew what he wanted to talk about, and he told them that their sister told him about what happened with their mother. They both started crying, saying they are sorry. They wanted to tell him, etc. Long story short, he told them he was not mad at them. He said he was sorry they had to carry this burden for so long and that he will always love them. When it comes to their mother, he told them he will leave because he doesn't see himself staying with someone who betrayed him, but he said he will talk to her first before making any decisions, as it is the least he could do. He asked them not to mention anything to their mother, as he is planning to have a discussion the same evening. End of the day, he went back home. His wife was already there, talking about her day, etc. He told her he had an interesting discussion with their daughter. She immediately knew what he was talking about. She started sobbing, saying it was just a kiss and because she knows how much he values trust, etc., especially with his business. She was afraid of losing him for such a small thing. To be honest, he thought seeing her cry would make him cry, but nothing. He told her she will receive the papers tomorrow by courier, and they will move on. After that, he went to their bedroom, packed some clothes, and left. He didn't know where he was going, but he just couldn't stay in their home anymore. He booked a hotel downtown and called his youngest to tell her he would not stay at home tonight. She told him she was planning to stay with a friend tonight to avoid going back home and face her mother, but since he was out, she asked if she could stay with him. Of course. He informed his two other daughters that their sister and he will be staying in a hotel for the night. They asked if they could discuss all together, so he said yes. During that discussion, he told them what would be the next steps according to his lawyer. He also made sure they know his daughters, and that he loves them, against probably everyone's advice. He couldn't stop himself telling them that part of him was hurt that they didn't tell him anything. He told them he thought they had a strong bond and that they could discuss about anything. They started crying and apologizing, so he reminded them that no matter what happened, they are his daughters and he loves them. However, he told them it will take some time for him to behave as normal. He told them he was thinking of going for a long trip to clear his mind, and his eldest said that if he needed it, then he should do it. After that, they just went to bed. The next morning, his daughter and he were having breakfast, and the mother called him. He didn't really want to pick up the phone, but his daughter insisted he talk to her. He agreed but put her on speaker. As soon as he picked up the phone, he could hear she's been probably drinking all night. She started crying, telling him she loves them. They were meant to be together. This will be devastating for the kids, etc. He told her the kids are adults now. They don't need them. They gave them the best they could, and now they have to build their own life. Suddenly, she turned very nasty, saying she will take everything he has, that she will make sure his company goes bankrupt. She will tell their daughters he physically abused her, etc. He was so shocked. He just stared at his daughter, who also couldn't believe what she was hearing. He decided to cut the discussion short and said his lawyer will get in touch with her. His daughter and he didn't even know what to say to each other. It was like the person who was with them for 2 decades suddenly became another person. 5 minutes later, she received a message from the mother telling her they need to talk. His daughter was scared, so he told her not to reply anyway. The mother was clearly drunk, so nothing good would come from that discussion. He told her he will be staying at this hotel until things are settled, and she's free to stay with him if she wants. They had another group call with his 2 other daughters to tell them what happened, and as you can imagine, they were astonished. He met his lawyer and told him what happened. His lawyer said he doesn't have to worry about anything. The mother had a good position professionally and is financially all right. He runs a business that employs 50 to 100 people, so a judge will never jeopardize that. Knowing her comfortable situation, she will get half of their assets, houses, cars, etc. But money-wise, she shouldn't have a penny for his savings, and she shouldn't be able to claim anything from his company. His daughter told him she's worried about going back to their house with her mom, as she's afraid she will be blamed for it. He told her he'll get a place downtown, and she can stay there with him, either temporarily until she feels she can go back or until she goes to college. He feels like the way her mother went crazy on the phone deeply troubled her. He will tell her he can find someone she can speak to if she feels the need, like a counselor. Let's see how she feels. The mother received the papers and apparently went ballistic with their families, hers and his. Hers tried to call them, but his eldest just shut them down. On his side, his brother knows him and just offered support. He knows he wouldn't do something like this for no reason. So here they are now. Divorce is on the way. His daughter is staying with him until she feels like going back. Home, maybe. The mother sent him messages. He might meet her. But his lawyer strongly advised him not to. He said there is nothing to gain and everything to lose. So he will probably trust him on that. About him, he will not go to Thailand until he is sure his youngest is in a good place. So if he goes, it will probably be next year when high school is done. He doesn't know how their day-to-day life is going to be. Let's see. He doesn't think he will send another update unless something major happens. So again, he would like to thank you all for the support you sent him. He never thought he would be in that situation, and he hopes nobody will be in the same. Thank you all. Well, he guesses there is nothing left to say but Godspeed. He hopes he gets to go to Thailand soon and he can clear his head and just start over with himself. Good riddance to his ex, and the best for him.